Hello everyone, I'm Simon Chen. I'm from the Department of Land Management,逢甲University. Today I want to show my topic is about applying the blockchain technology in the post-pandemic era. And I especially want to introduce the experience of the development of online contract signing and the login in Taiwan. I think that topic is very important because right now, during the pandemic, we just require everyone have to do the remote working or the remote online contract sign and login. So I think the technology property is quite important, and at least technology must use the blockchain to make sure data security and its conveniency. So I think that today my show is about my presentation. You can see before the pandemic, the tsunami of the new tech just going very quickly and much more powerful in real estate industry. Therefore, you can see after the pandemic, the impact I think probably has been fastened and enlarged because you can see the weekend because during the pandemic and the lockdown, we always have to use the Uber Eats or the Food Panda to deliver our the meals. So we can see from the statistic the using of the Uber Eats or the Food Panda just increased very fastly during the pandemic. Also, we can see such kind of development trend in Amazon. Amazon right now you can see they recruit lots of the new employees, and its goods to delivery also increases so rapidly. So we can see that in the Amazon, and also we can see that the remote working pattern right now most of the company they just have to require their employees stay at home and to do their work. So right now we use a lot of the online meeting software like the Zoom or Teams or the Google Meet. Because right now it just become the new normal, and we can see that everyone just quite familiar and quite get used to use the online meeting to finish their work or their group discussion. So that's just very interesting the phenomenon that just maybe just pushed by the COVID-19. So they'll become a very interesting things, especially in East Asia, because everyone just know about in the East Asia, probably from Japan, China, Korea, and Taiwan. We just get used to use the seers to represent the person or company, the entity to sign a contract. But if we have the seer, then we cannot do the remote working because we have to get the seer to sign the contract and then we have to go through the physical contact. So in 2020, last year, the June 19th, the Japan government therefore decided to abolish the usage of the seals in contract because to prevent the physical contact to contain the COVID-19 spread, and that is so necessary step. So you can see that, and in China as well, we also decided to abolish the seals to represent the company. But I think in Taiwan, recently we just have such kind of very severe the pandemic, the COVID-19 just spread out all over the Taiwanese society. So we also have such kind of pressure to try to find a substitute to replace the traditional use, the seals. So I think probably the blockchain technology can do it. And how we can use the blockchain to substitute the seals, I will introduce the next, what is the blockchain and how to use this kind of technology to replace the seals. Okay, so we can use the blockchain technology to substitute the traditional use, the seals. But so, and in the first instance, that we have to understand what is the blockchain. So we can see there are 5 the key elements in the blockchain technology. One is the distribution, encryption, and the immutability, and the decentralization, and then of course the tokenization. So we can see in the first element that's very important in the blockchain technology, which is the encryption. Encryption is used one pair of key. We call it a public key and a private key. And we also use the asymmetry encryption in contrasting to the traditional symmetrical encryption, which is there is only one pair of the public key and the private key. There's only one pair of the public key and private key in the world. So we can use this kind of symmetrical encryption to increase our security, to make sure that our data will not be hacked. So that is one very important element. And the second very important is the use the distribution ledgers, which is the different distributed database, which is also become very, very difficult then to let a chance to hackers to steal the data. And then the third element, which is that because we can immune the hacker attack, and then we also have the very good encryption technology. Therefore, we can make sure the data which is stored in the database is immutability. No one cannot do any adjustment which is not get approved by the stakeholders. So we can make sure the data is right, and no one can do any private change. And of course, then we can make sure that everything is right. And therefore, then we can use some technologies, such kind of the smart contract, and to do automatically to enforce the contract. So we call it a smart contract and sale enforcement. And then finally, maybe we can use the token, just like the Bitcoin. To Bitcoin, then we can maybe Bitcoin just like the currency. Then we can just use the token just like the currency to strengthen our economy inside our blockchain, the society. So we can see there's this 5 very important key elements to build up the blockchain technology. Therefore, you can see lots of the scholars and applications use the blockchain into the property registry or in the real estate industry. So there is the properly use first level is use the blockchain recording, or use the smart contract to do the smart workflow, or use the blockchain to do the smart escrow. Blockchain registry just like to replace the land registry. And also we use the token to represent our property right. So we can use the token, therefore we can easily to transform or deliver to do the property transaction. So therefore there was the different level of use the blockchain technology. So I think the very best application of blockchain is use the blockchain to do the recording. Using is the technology which makes sure every data is getting right. And of course, you can do it in remote or in an electronic way because we have the proper key and the private key to do it. So we can use that to substitute the seals, and then we can make sure the security function is much better than the traditional seals. So with our team, we also designed a system, we call it an e-contract in Taiwan, use the blockchain technology, and we try to substitute the seals during right now quite severe pandemic eruption today. And then I will introduce how to use the e-contract right now and how we design the e-contract in Taiwan, and try to make some help and assistance to help the society to get through this very unprecedented pandemic era in Taiwan. Okay, we designed a blockchain technology basis, the e-contract system, and when we try to make the process just very like what we have done today. And so we designed properly. We got 8 steps to complete the signing the contract and with the remote areas. So first step, you got the registration, and then you upload the contract, and then you decide which fields you want the people to sign, and then you can issue the contract, and then invite the people to sign the contract, and then therefore we will inscription, and then we will send it back to put on the box, and then we also will just make sure the contract finally is full of the signature that is necessary to do it. Then finally we just storage in the blockchain, e-Forum, the blockchain system, to make sure that no one can really change the contract. So if you want to use our e-contract system, you first step, of course, you have to do the registration and then log in. Then we can make sure that you got to qualify to use our system. When you finish the registration and then the login, of course, you have to type in your email address, and then we will send a message to make sure that your email account is available. And then you can registration and log in again. Then we will make sure your account is available. Then you can use the normal function that we designed in our e-contract system. Therefore, when you finish, you get qualified to do our membership. Then you can upload the contract. That's the very first step. You upload your contract. Then we require the contract that must become the PDF file. And then once you can upload the PDF file, we design then the number of files you can upload 5 at once. That's our maximum. You can upload the 5 files of PDF format. Then you set up, you can see the button. The button, therefore, the first one is you have decided which members you want to sign and where you want the people to sign. So you have to edit the people, and then you edit the right place, the right person to sign the contract. That is the step 3. You just arrange the person to sign and editing the signing field. Then you can go to the second step, which is once you decide the people, then we will require you to type in the people's email address, or you also have to type in the phone number. We just make sure the people are right. If you set up the people and you set up the right place you want the people to sign, then you finish the editing. Then you will do the next step, which is you are doing another edition. Then you can send the contract to the right person. You can see that you just select the signer, add a signature sales. Then you can send the email to the right person. So when the people receive the mail, they will see a box. When you receive the mail, that our system will inform the person is you to sign the contract. Then you will see the invitation, and then we also get the secret, the password. When you type the password, and once the system makes sure that the password is right, then we will lead you to the right the address. And then when you go to the right address, then you have to type the password again. If you type the password is correct, then the contract will fully refill, and you can see the box, the place you need to sign, and you can see that, and then you just sign your name on it. And then the next step, the contract, when the signing, of course you can use your handmade writing or use the typewriter to type. Both sides, the system all can accept the way how you sign the contract. And then finally, when you finish the sign the contract, then you can send it back to the system. And once the system have to receive all the process and the contract, then will form the complete contract. And then once the contract is finished, then we will storage your contract onto the e-Forum, the blockchain. Therefore, to make sure no one can really change the contract. And the right generally case has been done. Then we finish the contract signing and logging and storage in the blockchain in a very safe place. Of course, we also set up some additional function, just like you can see the contract signing, the process. All the historical development we also get in our record. Also, you can check the historical the signing the process over each one. Of course, we also sign kind of a contract. Once you change your mind, you want to decline your contract. You also in your last minutes, you still can reject the contract signing, and of course, finally the contract will become fail. Then you can do it again, and we can reconsider each words in your contract again. So we also set up such kind of function to do the contract rewrite. So that's it's a very simple and very direct way to guide the people to use the blockchain-based technology to do the online contract signing and the logging. I think that will greatly help the people during this pandemic to do the new way to do the contract signing. And of course, I think that will substitute the traditional use, the CS, currently in Taiwan. And I think that after the pandemic, people still want to use that system because we don't need to travel, going through so many areas just to use our CS to finish the contract. This is so unnecessary. So I think that before the pandemic and post the pandemic, we always will get through a new era, and then now must help by the new technology. Then we will go to a new way of the living pattern. I think the blockchain can do such kind of help during the pandemic and after the pandemic. I think that is my purpose to design the e-contract, to help the people to get through this pandemic and help them to go to the new era of doing our business. Thank you very much.